YouTube family, welcome to my channel, and this is Nurse Janet, and today I'll be talking about the best part about being a nurse. The best part about being a nurse, for starters, is that you form a special bond with your patients. I'll say that because we work really long hours. Some of us work 8, but most of us work 12 hours, and within that 12 hours we are the person that be with them the most. For us, or either the CNA, but we are the ones that have to give them their medicine. We have to do everything. We have to watch their lab works. We have to tell them, explain, break down what the doctor said when he gave them their diagnosis and everything. So we get to form a bond with them, and those patients start to like us, and they treat us like we're family. Next thing you know, they telling us who their grandkids are, tell us about their kids, their grandkids. They talk to us about their struggles. They talk to us about their dreams and aspirations. So as a nurse, we really form strong bonds with them. Another great thing about being a nurse is that you're not just taking care of patients. We look at it as you're taking care of your family. Because, for instance, like the COVID-19 is out, they can't have family members in the room. So we have to be their family. And even before COVID-19, we look at our patients like they are our families. We are the ones who cry with them. We are the ones who laugh with them. We are the ones who have to give them their hug when they get that bad diagnosis. We have to be the one that's shot with them when they get that they are cured and they can go home. We are the ones that help deliver their babies. You know, I was a labor delivery nurse for so many years, and I have helped sister doctor and bring in so many babies, and people come up to me, and some of them I don't remember because, you know, babies don't look the same as they look when they were a newborn, and the families always come up to me and say, you know, you have brought my baby into the world, you remember him? And you know, some of them I remember, but a lot of them I don't remember. But it's still special that they walk up to me and say that. I can never get enough of that. All these years of being a nurse, whenever someone come up to me and say, you took care of me, or you helped deliver my baby, it is just a very special feeling, and it's like the best feeling ever. And no matter if I remember them or not, I just love for them to come up to me and say that, because it's something about being a nurse. We love caring for patients, and they are our family, and we do call them our children, the babies, and we do, the adult world, we do call them our sister, brother, or whoever. We talk like they're our kids, and they be older than us, because it is just so special being a nurse. The best part about being a nurse is that we inspire others. We inspire others by being there when they get that cancer diagnosis. We're the one that tell them. We be in a fight with them. We fight until to get them better. And if they don't get better, we stand with them, and we pray over them, and we pray with the family. And they inspire us every day. Our patients inspire us, because it's so many patients that are so sick, but they put a smile on our face. When we come in, we down, and we see they still fighting. We see that they still got a smile on their face, and then we see them not giving up. It makes us not give up, not even just at work, but it helps us even go back into our world and make us be better individuals, and make us want to go back to school and learn more, and make us want to research and learn how to be the best nurse we can be. So our patients are great. Our patients inspire us, and it's just so touching to see them, because I have met so many patients that were so sick, but you will never know, because they always had a smile on their face. They were going through so much. They were losing money from work because they're in the hospital for a long time, but instead of them complaining, they figured out ways to make it work. And that's the reason why I love being a nurse too, because that's the best part about being a nurse, is that our patients continually, year after year, day after day, inspire us to be the best we can be, because they push us to be a better nurse. They push us to educate ourselves more. They push us to love more. They push us to not be judgmental. They push us to just be great individuals. And I love each and every one of my patients, not because it give me a good career, which it does, it give me a good living, but because they are such an amazing group of people. Everyone come in there, they come in there with a smile on their face, and even the ones who frown and may be upset, it's still something to learn from them, because they still fighting, they still pushing to live. And even when some of them, even when they in their dying day and they know they are going out, this is maybe their last hour, their last second, they still inspire us, because they go out peacefully. They amend their wrongs and everything else. I have seen that happen, and they go out and they be comfortable knowing that this may be my last second, but I live. I live to the end, and I'm okay with not being here tomorrow. And I just want to they just love on their family and they go peaceful. Another good thing about being a nurse is that you never have to worry about a job. You never have to worry about a job because nurses are always needed. And even if some people may say, well, I live in this town and they don't have many nurses jobs. Well, it's so many other places you can live, or you could be a travel nurse and still live in your town, because I have been a travel nurse and I still have residence one place, but I was working in another place. So even with children, I have my girls and I still was able to travel nurse. So you do not ever have to worry about a job when you're a nurse. It's going to always be a job. It's always going to be somebody wants you. A lot of nurses have 2 and 3 jobs. They have one full time, and they have like these jobs where they can go whenever they want to, whenever they're available. And so they can have that, and it can help them make extra money, or they can have it to pay off their loans, or to pay off their mortgage or whatever early, or buy a car cash, or whatever they want to do. That's what nursing allow us to do. So that is a great part about nursing, is that you don't have to worry about job security. You have job security in nursing because there's always a need for nurses everywhere all over this country. Another thing that I like about being a nurse, and the great thing about being a nurse, is that it's so many opportunities for job advancements. One thing about nurses, it's so many. You can climb the ladder. You can go from an LVN, you can go to an RN 2 years, you can go to an RN 4 year, you can get a nurse practitioner, you can be an educator, you can be a business owner with an RN license, you can be a case manager, you can be home health, you can be pediatric, you can be NICU, you can be bedside, you can be, you don't have to work at the bedside, you can be in management, you can own the hospital, it's so many opportunities. And you don't even have to work at a hospital or a nursing home. You can work in stores. You can work in, like CVS. It's just overwhelming the things you want to be. So when people say they want to be a nurse, you think of the traditional role as a nurse. But nurses are everywhere. Nurses are, they are selling tea, and they help people lose weight. They work in exercise. They work in gyms. They work in stores. They sell clothing. They sell weight loss material. It could go on and on and on what a nurse can do. And that's the one thing that's great about a nurse. Nobody can put you in a box and think, okay, this is what you do. No, you don't know what nurses do, because they have so many advancement in nursing. Just like, for instance, nurses also, I forgot about this one, they can also be in computers. You have informatics nursing, where they work on computers. They teach you computers. You have legal nurses, and those are the ones who work with lawyers. They look at the cases. Like when people sue the hospital, they're the ones that work to see if this was it negligence? Did the person do this? Did they document right and everything? They work on the behalf of the hospital. Then you have some legal nurses that work on the behalf of the patient. And so, like I said, they could be working with lawyers, or they can work with computers. They can work in stores. They can work in merchandise. They can work in hospitals. They can work in nursing homes. They can go to home health, travel to people's homes. It's a whole big arena of things that nurses can do in their career. So that's the thing I love about nursing, that you can do so many things, and you don't have to worry about a job ever, and you can always increase your education and your level of learning. You can go all the way up to doctorate degree in nursing. Another thing that is so great about nursing is that you can figure out your schedule. Some nurses work 8-hour shifts. Some nurses work 12-hour, 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts. That's what I like. I love that. Some workers work a set schedule where they know they work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where some they just work whenever the 12 hours or 3 days, but it's spread it out. I know at one job I used to work, I loved it. I worked Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I worked the night shift, and that was my shift for the entirety that I worked at that hospital. And I loved that shift at the time. It worked good for me, and it worked good for my family. But then you have some nurses, they only work weekends. They only work Saturday and Sunday. They don't work but 2 days a week. And some of them do like a double shift. It just depends. And then you have some work 8-hour shifts. They work like 6 to 2, 2 to 10, or 10 to 6 at night. So you have that. And then you have some nurses, they are PRN, meaning they just come as needed. You have part-time nurses, they only work 2 days a week, 2 12-hour shifts. You have nurses that work in the ER, they have, like some of them, they only on call. Or they might work in the ER, but they work a really different strange shift, like a way different time. ER doctors, nurses work different shifts too. They might go in at 2 in the morning and be there to 2 the next day. It just depends. But like I said, that's the thing of flexibility. You got to know what works for your family, and then you go from there. So that's another great thing about being an RN. Okay, another great thing about being a nurse is that your career, your nursing career, can translate into your personal life. Meaning that you already know if your family gets sick, you already know what to do. Sometimes your family gets tired of you being a nurse, and then a lot of times they call you so much because you are a nurse. Once anybody, if you're going to nursing school, tell your family you're in nursing school. They're going to start calling you all the time saying, what do I do for my gout? What do I do for my heart disease or whatever? They just call you. They gonna call you. And so that's the thing. Be careful with that though, because if you tell them something, it translates. You don't know their health history, it can work. So anytime I tell somebody, they ask me a question, I hate telling them no. So if I tell them something, I always tell them, check with your doctor. That's the best way to do. I always tell them, check with your doctor so that they can't be trying to sue you later on. Make sure, if you give any advice, just say, make sure you check with your doctor, because I don't know what type of medicine, I don't know what type of health conditions you have, so I always tell them to check with their doctor. But when you become a nurse, they're going to always, and most people going to think you're a doctor. I don't know why, but they always think the nurse is a doctor, but you're not a doctor. But the thing about it is they're going to ask you how to do this, what to do. Another great thing about being a nurse is that they will, and I think I said this earlier, but people will remember you from years to come. And they will always be grateful to you. And that's a big one for me. Because years later, I always have patients. I always have patient family run into me in the stores and when I'm traveling or anywhere. And they always talk to me and they always tell me how I impacted their life. And what I want to say to any nursing students out there who want to be a nurse or are already in nursing school, or people who are contemplating or should they be a nurse, remember why you are doing this. If you're not doing this for the people, do not get in it. If you're doing it for the money, do not get in it. But if you're doing it, do it for the people. Touch their lives. Make an impact. Make a difference. That's what I do. You know, I always try to, and one thing, especially if you in nursing school, try to learn how to work on time management. Because I did that because I wanted to have more time. Because a lot of nurses, we have so many documentation that we have to do. We have so much documentation. And some nurses be so bombarded with it. But I have worked on my time management so that I can spend more time with my patient's bedside if I work bedside. If you work at bedside, you need to have time with your patients. And what I make a decision to do every shift is just make sure that I have enough time to spend some time to get to know my patient. Not getting in their business or anything like that, but just go in, introduce myself, and just let them talk. And I listen. Not me to go in there and talk and tell them what they need to do and all that. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually going in a room and listening to my patient. When I do that, I learn more about my patient in those listening times than I do anything else, even more than I learn about being in a chart. I can look in a chart and see all what the doctor wrote and everything, but when I go in there and listen, I'll find out that this may not be all the way the case, or I'll find out the backstory. And I also discovered that my listening sessions with my patients is so wonderful, because I have had, and not to bash my fellow colleagues, but I have nurses come up to me and they were like, oh, this is a bad patient. They are so mean. I don't know what. I try to do everything. You just go in there and you be careful, because they gonna be short with you. They don't talk to you. This is a bad patient. After I go in there, after my listening sessions, I find out this person is the most loving, caring patient in the world. And you know the reason why they probably was short? Because their brother died, their mom died last week, or something bad happened, or they lost their job because they've been in and out of the hospital too much. And they just wanted somebody to listen, and nobody listened to them. Nobody, it's some patients, they mad because nobody listen. Everybody come in and tell them what they need to do or what they didn't do, but nobody sit and actually listen to them. So I make it a decision every shift I ever work. I make a choice where, listen, I don't care how busy I am, I have to figure out even if I have to, you know, just it'd be hard, but if I don't care what time, I have to figure out, okay, what can I do where I can spend some time with them. And it may be when I'm doing a skill with them where I'm changing a wound or I'm giving out medication. I'll just take my time with the medication. You know, I'm giving my medication, but I'm also letting them talk. You know, because you might say, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I can't do that. Well, make time. And you can use the time where you actually doing something. If you're doing wound care, you know you're going to be in there a while. You know that you got to cleanse the wound. You know you got to package the wound. You know you got to wrap the wound and everything. You know you have to have all your supplies and everything prepared. You got to put your supplies up. Okay, so I went over all the things that I want to talk to you about, how the best support about being a nurse, and it is more things to it. I just didn't want to just go on and on and on, but I just wanted to give you just a few things that is great about being a nurse. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Also, if you have things that you want me to speak on next or talk about, let me know, because I could talk to you about how to get admitted into college, how to make it where you can be, because you know when you're trying to get into nursing school, there's a lot of things you need to do in order to be the first one to get accepted into clinicals. If you want me to talk about that, if you want me to talk about study skills, how to pass the NCLEX, just let me know in the comments and I will do that. If you want to know about how to get admitted into the nursing school, period, universities, and different things like that, I will let you know. If you want me to talk about different illnesses like high blood pressure, diabetes, and things you can do to help with that, put it in the comments and I'll be sure to do more videos like that, or do videos that you request in my comment. Before you leave this video, please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Also, I have this new book called When Anything Else Is Unacceptable. It's on my new website, www.janetgjackson.com. Again, I have a new book. You can buy it, order it at www.janetgjackson.com. Thank you.